think about the object in your hand. You can feel it, touch it, maybe toss it back and forth between your fingertips. Feel the textures, whether it's warm or cold or paper. And I want you to think about a person, a place, or a time that this object brings up for you. And think about all those details, maybe how old you were, what was the weather like, what was the feeling. And once you have that thought in your head, you can go ahead and open your eyes.
I picked a tractor, and it represents when I was about 4 or 5 years old at my uncle's horse farm in Rhode Island.
And did you do that often as a child?
No, I think in fact, I couldn't until I remembered the tractor. I was trying to think, I didn't know why I picked this, and I was trying to think when I'd ever been on one, and it reminded me of that time.
Very interesting. So you see what even happened here. Somehow inside of you, you recognize the object, and then you match the emotion to it. Very interesting. What these individuals have shared with us is what I call windows into their lives. Now, we've learned a tremendous amount of information here in 2 minutes. This is better than any assessment tool. We know we could talk to her about her uncle, her relationship between the uncle and the family, how wonderful it was as a child to have that experience. We knew that she enjoyed that. Each person starts being interested in what the other person shared because of the rich language. You know, they all gave us great detail. You could almost sense it. And that is what enhances their levels of conversation. And the reason why is because the person with Alzheimer's disease doesn't know person, place, and time as we relate. But what a wonderful opportunity for them to now talk about their long-term memory, which they still have, issues that are the same, and how they feel about grandparents, how they feel about their children. I had once a group where 2 women were saying, wow, my children really don't support and give to me like I had expected at this point in my life, being 80 years old in a skilled nursing home. But that was a wonderful thing for them to be able to share together as an intimate conversation. So this is where object relations can be used really powerfully. Feel your feet, realize they're there, wiggle them a little. Then we're going to go up to our ankles, visualizing both the right ankle and the left ankle. Inhale and exhale. Brings the oxygen back to your brain. Inhale one more time. And exhale. It also stimulates your balance. You don't want people to be in a meditation and then all of a sudden bring them out without really moving their body, their hands. Brings back your energy to your brain and your heart. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to go around and just look at some of these because I see some wonderful things in the room.
This is a beach of the Pacific Northwest coast where the Makah tribe are. It's just very wild.
Yeah, I've
Big
been up to
waves.
that area, real big waves.
And hot, warm sand.
Yeah.
Freezing ocean.
Freezing ocean. Beautiful rendition of that. Here, this looks like some place in the mountains.
This is my chair.
Uh-huh.
And these are the Bavarian Mountains.
Bavarian.
And the other mountains below it. And then the fields with their trees.
Beautiful.
With the different kind of crops.
And have you lived there, or is this a place
No.
that you vacation?
I just wanted to go there today.
Oh, good! That's
I
great.
went to a really lush place, and I was in the woods with lots of trees, but really, I was really looking at the ground with all the little growth and stuff. And then I loved that you had us sit down, and this was the chair I sat in. So
It's beautiful. It's very textural. You feel very sort of safe and warm. Therapeutic Thematic Arts Programming gives a formal structure to Bloom's understanding of how we learn. You're sharing your knowledge in this type of programming. Comprehension is the ability to capture the meaning and the material in some way. This can be demonstrated by changing the material from one form to another. And an example of this is changing words into sculpture or words and relationship into figures. So one of the things I've asked you to do here is put yourself into your environment. Or if you're already in your environment, put words to that. That's an element of comprehension, understanding how one thing moves to another. Application. Application is the ability to use material in a different way. So in other words, you've all learned now, you had a meditation, you have this session. I'm going to summarize this today by telling you other ways that you can use this application and other ways, and there's examples of different meditations, different places you could take a person for different reasons. So I specifically took you to your fantasy place because that's the least threatening. If I had taken you to the garden and asked you to see someone in the garden, you would have come back with a much more emotional response. Some of you might have seen someone who passed away. Someone might have seen someone who they're very, in love with and missing. So what I did specifically was I took you to the environment versus the person. So an example is the representation of represented in the creation of individual artwork within the group. So all of you have observed how other people have done their creative work. Some people have used the leaves for bushes. Some people use the leaves for pine trees. Analysis is the ability to break down the material into components so that it is patterned and understood. The person's part of the group, and yet they have their own work, right? So, and it's reflected in idea to chart to art experience to finished project. And many times people ask me, how long should this go for? You can have this, what you did today, you can have this go for a 2-week period. If you're seeing the group once a week, you can have them start the background of their sculptured environment and then create the sculptured component of their environment the next week. If you're seeing them for twice a day, you can have them create this whole step in one day. But there's really no time limit here. And the other thing is you don't have to use all the different steps. You can use the meditation with just painting. You can use the meditation and guided imagery with just sculpture. So you don't have to use all 9 steps. Bless you.